What's up, internet? My name is Nikki and today I will be doing my January wrap-ups. These are all the books I ended up finishing in the month of January, and I kind of just wanted to talk about them and just like share my ideas of what I thought and hopefully do a little summary of these books as well, hopefully. So let's get into it. So starting off with the first book I ended up reading in the month of January is technically a comic book, and that is Fence by C.S. Pacat. C.S. Pacat wrote the Captive Prince trilogy, and she announced that she was coming out with a comic book last year, and I'm like, yes, I must have it, and I did. I ended up reading the first 3 issues, and all I have to say is that I am loving it so far. Mainly because it reminds me of a sports anime, because it's about fencing, if you didn't know by the title, and it's just great. I love it, love it, love it. I do admit it pains me a little bit just because it's so new that I have to wait a month just to get the new issue, and it's just, I just want it to come faster, but I'm just gonna be patient because I seen her Instagram and she just announced that she finished issue 8, and I'm just like, I can't express how excited I am for this series. So this comic series follows 2 fencers, Nicholas and CG. I might be pronouncing his name wrong. I suck at names, so I'm very sorry. So it follows these 2 characters. CG is a prodigy fencer, and then you have Nicholas, who has raw talent but has not been trained properly to fence just yet. They end up meeting at a competition where they go head to head, and obviously CG wins due to the fact that he is a prodigy and Nicholas still doesn't have the right training. So the whole entire time Nicholas vows that he will basically take down CG from his high and mighty chair and prove that anyone could beat him, that he is not the best fencer of all time. Obviously, I don't know about you guys, but this kind of reminds me of the volleyball anime Haikyuu, because it kind of starts the same way as well. But anyways, it kind of starts off with there where they become enemies, and then over the summer they both get accepted to a all-boys school for fencing, and basically there they have to work as teammates or else they don't get on the team. And it's just a really interesting form of a sport that I've never actually paid attention to, and so far I'm starting to like fencing just a tad bit. I like it so far. It's a really high-packed, action-y sort of thing. There's a lot of drama so far, so I'm kind of quite excited to see where this goes. But it does actually remind me of most sports animes I've seen, especially like how it begins. So I like it a lot, especially if you're a C.S. Pacat fan. Go for it, try it, it is great. So moving on to the next book I finished is They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera, and once again Adam Silvera made me cry. I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. This just put me in such a sad and happy mood that I don't even know how to express my feelings, because this book is just, oh my god, it's Adam Silvera. Like, he just makes you cry. If you have not picked up an Adam Silvera book, just be prepared to be emotionally devastated. That's all I'm saying right now, because you'll feel heartbreak but at the same time be sort of happy. Not really, I don't know. That's how I kind of feel about it, because it just, his writing is beautiful in general. So this book is about 2 teenage boys named Rufus and Mateo who get a call from Death Cast telling them they're gonna die that day, and they have less than 24 hours to fulfill their lives as much as they can in less than 24 hours. Considering that Rufus and Mateo both have the idea that they don't want to spend their last day alone, they end up getting on an app called Last Friend, where they end up meeting each other and actually becoming friends on their last day together. And it's just a really lovely story about how their relationship grows in this last hours of their lives, and just how they go on this adventure trying to do everything they've ever put off or just didn't think it was important. And it's just so heartbreaking to read, just because you're like, you know what's gonna happen, but it's in the title, and it's just so sad. And I love it so much because this book has a really great message about how to live your life. Like, do what you want to do, don't let fear stand in your way, or don't just push it off, because you don't know if you're gonna be here tomorrow. And it's just, like I said, it was such a lovely book. Like Adam Silvera's books, it made me cry, it made me happy, and damn you, Adam Silvera, for making me cry once again in one of your books. It was just, it was lovely. It was great. I say pick it up, give it a shot. I can't say any more of it. It's just a great love, friendship story, and it's just, yeah, it was great. It was great. So moving on to the next book I finished is Pets by C.S. Pacat. This is the 4th short story from the Captive Prince trilogy, and this book is basically about Ansel, one of the pets, and this is like his backstory. And Ansel is one of the pets that basically threw the series into a loop, because then you kind of get to know a little bit more of the other characters from the Captive Prince trilogy, but this pet made a huge impact in the trilogy, and getting his little backstory was great. It was wonderful seeing like who he was and how he got there and everything, and just like, I can't really explain much of who Ansel is because then I'm spoiling the Captive Prince trilogy, and so all I have to say is if you're into the Captive Prince trilogy, try reading the short stories. This is number 4. I think this is the last short story that she said that she was coming out with, but I'm not 100% sure. But I extremely liked it. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. It was great. I like knowing more of different characters, especially someone who impact the main story that much. Like, yes, just try it. It was a great read. Moving on to the next book I finished is Wolfsong by T.J. Klune. I have no idea how to explain this book, mainly because of how much I loved it. This book made me so happy when I was reading it, just because of how much I enjoyed it so much. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. The story follows Ox, who has a really difficult life. He is not the smartest tool in the shed, and because due to his size, he hasn't been able to make friends that easily, and obviously he wasn't really good in school. Stuff starts to get a little wonky for him after his father ends up leaving him and his mother, and Ox decides that he is the man of the house and he has to find ways to provide for his mother. So he ends up getting a job at the garage where his dad used to work for, and he kind of finds a place for himself there because he loves being a mechanic. He loves the atmosphere there. He loves his boss so much, who kind of is a sort of father, brother, boss kind of figure to him, and he sort of feels content with his life. Granted, he doesn't feel like he's actually wanted, and he kind of feels sort of out of place until he meets a little boy in the woods, where they actually start this really intense friendship that kind of grows from there. Ox ends up finding out from this little boy's family that he has not talked to anyone for a good chunk of time until he ended up meeting Ox. And from hearing that, Ox believes that he has a purpose, that he has something to do with this little boy, and he basically does everything in his power to stick with him and do everything he can to make this little boy happy. And during this time of them both growing up together, a lot of really weird things happen, mostly revolving around wolves, magic, and just a lot of supernatural creatures. And the story is just, I don't know how to explain it whatsoever, because I can't compare it to Twilight because I've never read Twilight, and I can't compare it to any other series because this has not been any other series I've ever read, because it's just a really sweet and happy going book in general. It's just so funny because of how T.J. Klune writes. It's just, I don't know, it's just very relatable, and it's just hilarious, and it's just great. It kind of reminds me of a rom-com meets like fantasy stuff, and it's just, I don't know. It was a great book, and I loved it so much. And if you want something that's a pick-me-up and you like werewolves or supernatural and a love story thrown into it, go for it. It's just great. I do admit there's a part in it which made me really cry, and I got really emotional where I did not want to read the book whatsoever, but I went through it. Great read, great read. So moving on to the last book I ended up reading, it is Been Here All Along by Sandy Hall. I gave this book a 2 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. I was so conflicted with the story because I loved certain parts of it. I loved the unrequited love for it, but overall I'm like, there are certain parts where it was not necessary whatsoever, and then half the time I wanted the book to end, but I still finished it. So I have no idea. The only way I could explain what this book is sort of like is take Taylor Swift's music video for We Belong Together, I think that's what it's called, with Simon versus the Homo Sapiens agenda and just smush it together. And that's basically what this book was. So the story follows Gibson, who just finds out that he is gay, and his best friend Kyle, who is also his next door neighbor, who is bisexual and is currently dating a very popular girl named Ruby. And this weird love triangle happens where Gibson kind of just wants to get over his crush, doesn't want to even think about it because it's his best friend, it's his neighbor, and he has a girlfriend, for crying out loud, and he doesn't want to do anything with it. But certain events happen where Gibson and Kyle come face to face and they realize their feelings for each other, and the story kind of goes from there. And there's a lot of drama, a lot of things where I'm not really certain of why it was inserted into the book, but it's there. But overall, it is cute, it is witty, and then yeah, it kind of just lost me halfway through. But I did like certain parts of it, and when I was reading it, all I could think was that Taylor Swift music video of You Belong With Me or something. I don't remember. It's been a while since I seen it, but that's all I was thinking about. It's, oh gosh, that song brings back so many memories. Oh my god. But that's all I was thinking about it, and like the wittiness and the weirdness of it kind of remind me of like Simon from Becky Albertalli's book, and it's just a weird combination of the two, which kind of felt like more like a fan fiction than anything. But overall, I don't know how I felt about it, because like I said, I was very conflicted because I liked it and then I didn't like it, and then it was just really weird. It was really intense. So try it out if you want to. If you want to explain it to me, explain it to me, because I'm still like, I'm not quite sure what I read. So yeah, that is it for my January wrap up. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you guys read any of these books, tell me what you thought, because I would like to know your opinions. So yeah, if you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more, please subscribe. If not, that's cool. I usually try to upload Monday, Wednesdays, or Fridays. So yeah, catch you later. Well, bye.